BBC News at 6 o'clock. This is Luke Tuddenham. Good evening. Boris Johnson has spent the day trying to persuade MPs to back his Brexit deal before they vote tomorrow in their first Saturday sitting since the Falklands War. It's believed about 9 Labour backbenchers are ready to support the government, but they've been warned of consequences if they do. President Erdogan has said the Turkish army will continue its offensive in northern Syria if the Kurds don't use the current ceasefire to pull back from the border. Tens of thousands of people are out on the streets of Barcelona to demand the release of 9 separatist leaders jailed for an unsuccessful attempt to declare independence. The parents of a teenager killed in a road accident involving an American diplomat's wife have claimed a cover-up is underway in Britain and the US. A church warden who murdered a university lecturer after a campaign of physical and mental torture has been jailed for at least 36 years. Boris Johnson has appealed for MPs across Westminster to unite behind his Brexit deal, saying there's no better outcome for the whole of the UK. The Prime Minister has spent the day engaged in intensive last-ditch efforts to try to secure the 320 votes the government needs to get the deal through the Commons during a crucial vote tomorrow. It's understood a number of Labour MPs are prepared to rebel against Jeremy Corbyn by supporting the agreement. A crucial group of Tory backbenchers has also indicated that it will be throwing its weight behind the deal. But Northern Ireland's Democratic Unionists have made clear they won't be voting for it and have been trying to persuade Tory Brexiteers to follow their lead. Our political correspondent Ben Wright reports.
MPs will have had just 2 days to digest the new Brexit divorce deal before they vote on it tomorrow. A vote that could decide the economic and constitutional future of the UK. A vote that could hinge on a handful of MPs. Throughout the day, Number 10 has been bashing the phones, trying to persuade Tory Brexiteers, independents and some Labour MPs to back this agreement. Without a Conservative majority in the Commons and having lost the support of the Democratic Unionist Party, Boris Johnson knows the vote could be very tight. Speaking to the BBC, the Prime Minister urged MPs to approve the deal.
As one whole United Kingdom, we can take back control, as we always said, of our borders, our money, our laws, do free trade deals, set our own future according to the democratic will of the United Kingdom, as one United Kingdom. And that is a great step forward. Now, clearly, what matters is MPs coming together across the House tomorrow to get this thing done.
The big difference between this deal and Theresa May's is its provision for preventing a hard border on the island of Ireland after Brexit. The DUP is livid about the plan for a customs border between Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and the party's Brexit spokesman, Sammy Wilson, said they were telling Tory MPs to vote against the deal too.
Some are being harassed by the whips. This is not an easy issue for anyone, I accept that, but we will be encouraging them because we believe that this does have an impact on the unity of the United Kingdom, will spark further nationalist sentiment in Scotland and will be detrimental to the economy of Northern Ireland.
The former Conservative Chancellor Philip Hammond has challenged Boris Johnson to prove he is not trying to dupe MPs into backing a heavily camouflaged no-deal Brexit. Writing in The Times, Mr Hammond said the government needed to demonstrate it would not leave without an agreement when the proposed transition period ends in December 2020. But of the 28 hardline Tory Brexiteers who voted against the previous withdrawal agreement, around 15 of them seem likely to back the government tomorrow. The pro-Brexit ERG group of Conservative MPs will make their position clear in the morning. And one of their members, Andrew Bridgen, said the chairman had not yet made their final decision.
They will advise what the group decision may be, but that is not binding. But I think the vast majority of the ERG will come to the conclusion that this deal is tolerable and also that we need to get Brexit across the line.
Number 10 is desperate to win the backing of some Labour MPs too. It's thought around 9 are currently planning to vote for the deal, and Downing Street is likely to be offering fresh assurances around workers' rights to try and convince them. But Labour, along with other opposition parties, will vote against the deal, and the Shadow Chancellor, John McDonnell, said there would be consequences for any Labour MP voting for a deal he said was bad for the country.
It will introduce checks and barriers at our border, and it will also, well, it is worse than Theresa May's deal because it removes those commitments that she was willing to offer about a level playing field to protect workers' rights, environmental standards and consumer rights. So It's a very bad deal. We just can't support it.
Tomorrow, MPs may also vote on an amendment tabled by Sir Oliver Letwin that would withhold parliamentary approval of the deal until the legislation to implement the agreement is passed. If MPs approve that, the Prime Minister would still have to write a letter to the EU requesting a further postponement of Brexit until January the 31st. But with Boris Johnson insisting the UK must leave the EU by the end of the month and potentially years of post-Brexit trade talks to come, tomorrow will not be the end of the saga.
One of Labour's biggest objections to the deal is its failure to ensure a level playing field for workers' rights across the EU and the UK. Our business editor, Simon Jack, considers the relevance of such protections for firms and employees.
Central to the Labour Party's demand that its MPs vote against Boris Johnson's Brexit deal is the party leadership's fear that workers' rights could be eroded without the protections enshrined in EU law. Their concern stems from the fact that assurances on preserving those rights have been taken out of the legally binding withdrawal agreement and put into the non-legally binding political declaration, which sketches out the future relationship between the UK and the EU. It remains to be seen how effective a whipping tool this will be, with several Labour MPs indicating they will vote for the deal, a move some activists have likened to walking across a picket line. However, some business groups have told the BBC there is no clamour or appetite to start diluting the rights of their workers, while others point out the UK is perfectly capable of putting its own legislation in place without relying on EU law. Separately, business concern has been growing today about the watering down of the commitment to maintain close regulatory standards. The Food and Drink Federation have expressed doubts about a deal they initially welcomed, now describing it as a backward step in the UK's ambition for future frictionless trade and one which could increase costs for businesses and consumers.
Some Labour MPs are coming under conflicting pressures from their party leadership and their constituents over how they should vote tomorrow. To find out more, our correspondent Danny Savage visited 2 Yorkshire constituencies which backed Leave in the referendum in 2016.
Good to see you. Yeah, big day tomorrow. All eyes on Parliament.
In Wakefield this afternoon, the Labour MP for the city, Mary Cray, was out explaining her position on tomorrow's Brexit vote to her constituents.
What do you think we should be doing?
Renegotiate.
Definitely.
Yeah.
She won't be backing the government tomorrow.
I want to see the Prime Minister's deal voted down. I want to see us go back to the European Union, ask for an extension. We'll need that extension even if the deal goes